Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. If you've been with us for the last few days for the International Alliance meeting, welcome back. And if this is your first day and part of our meetings for the week, welcome to the first virtual Allied Health Professional Forum. My name is Colleen Balas, and I have the honor and privilege of being the chair of the International Alliance, as well as the president and CEO of the ALS Association in the United States. Um, I want to tell you just a little bit about what the International Alliance is, and then we'll get our session kicked off. There's a lot of great programming. So if we can go to, are we on the next slide, slide 2? There we go. Whoop, go back. Our name implies exactly what we are. We are a global network of ALS and MND associations. And what we try to do is build capacity for our members and connect external stakeholders around the world. The objects of our charity are the relief of PALS and CALS and education and awareness. So what does that mean? It means we're a collective organization, and while we don't necessarily deal with PALS and CALS directly to provide support or research, we do indirectly provide relief by building capability of our member organizations. Our values reflect this. We serve organizational members, we value both care and research, and we do this with integrity and transparency. Next slide, please. I'm a big believer in the saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. And that means we're stronger together and independently. The Alliance helps members thrive by adding value to existing and future associations through curation and creation of information, and by acting as a global gateway through which the Alliance members can connect with PALS and CALS to internal and external stakeholders. Now, if you look at this map, it's not hard to see where we have a pretty big gap. And that gap is particularly located in Africa. So we have a team that's working hard right now, and hopefully by next year, you'll see more color filled in there. Though I would say if you happen to have a contact connection that you would like to bring forward so that they can be more connected with the international community, we would certainly welcome that as well. Next slide. This is our vision. I think it's probably our entire community's vision, is a world free of ALS. And we will continue to be a big tent organization that welcomes members into our community, big and small, and helps them build capacity to best serve people living with ALS and MND and their families. One of our key stakeholder groups is you. And I was reflecting back to last year when we were in Perth together and noting how I always see kind of the change throughout the course of the week, going from the International Alliance to the Allied Health Professionals, and then into the research portion of our longer program. And I think I mentioned that when I walk into the room, with the Allied Health Professional Forum, I always felt like I was walking in to a big hug, because you are a key stakeholder in supporting our community in ways that are so important. I'm sorry we can't walk into the room together this year and have a big hug, maybe next year, but I want to say thank you. Thank you for all the work that you've been doing, especially in a pandemic, taking that work to just a whole new level. It's been amazing what I've seen, not only in the United States, but across the world. You all are a very, very special group of people. So with that, I'm going to turn the microphone over to your co-hosts for the Allied Health Professionals for the next few days, Sarah and Rachel. The floor is yours.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you so much, Colony. It's really interesting that for your welcome, you actually reflected back to the same thing that I was going to reflect back on. I remember you opening last year and talking about that warm hug that you felt when you walked into the room. And it is exactly the same way that I feel. I look forward to this every year. I'm passionate about educating health professionals, as I know Rachel is. So I would also like to welcome you, and I can skip the first 5 minutes of my presentation because Colony did such a fabulous job. Thank you. So my name is Sarah Feldman. I'm the physical therapist and assistive technology professional at the MDA ALS Center of Hope at Temple University School of Medicine, which is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm also the clinical liaison to the ALS Hope Foundation. And it's in those dual roles that I became part of the International Alliance. And everything that Colony said is true. It's an alliance around the globe of associations, but in that same with the associations, it's you have the ability to meet other healthcare providers. That's how I met Rachel, is at these meetings where she was also presenting on her work. So I would like to have Rachel, could you introduce yourself, please?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sarah, and welcome to everybody. And I have to say, it's a great privilege to be asked to chair this meeting with Sarah this year. I'm Rachel Marsden, and I am the M&D Care Centre Care Centre Coordinator, M&D consultant nurse in Oxford in the UK. And I have been doing this job for 18 years now. But it's hard to believe that this time last year, I was very honoured to be the winner of the Allied Professional Forum Award. And what was interesting is I was presented to it virtually because I was cycling around the world trying to beat the Guinness World Record for circumnavigating the globe on a tandem. And this year we are all virtual, so I kind of feel I was a little bit ahead of my time there. But thank you and welcome everybody. And Sarah, hand back to you.
Thank you. Now, Colony, Rachel, and I are the ones that you may see in front of the screen today, but you do need to know that there are a lot of people behind the curtain, as it were, making everything work. So first, I'd like to thank Kathy Cummings, the executive director of the International Alliance, who this would not be possible without her. Shay Cameron has been her right-hand man. And the APF committee is also made up of people from around the globe. I'd like to thank Adriana Oda, Ursula Rosinger, Leslie Ryan, Gudjun Sigurdsson, and Tony Vitale for all the help that they've done to put this program together. Now, you will note, if you've attended in the past, there are a few differences this year for the Allied Professional Forum. One, the presentations have been pre-recorded, so no one will go over time. Thank you very much. While the presentations are taking place, please enter your questions in the chat box, and we will address them as we can at the end of the presentations, as time allows. We usually, if you've attended in the past, we group the presentations by topics. You will note this year that we've grouped the presentations by time zone or region. So it may seem a little disjointed at times because they're not exactly the same, but it's because we wanted to be cognizant of where people were presenting and not having people present in the middle of the night. We will split the day up from this morning. We have it this morning, we'll have a break, and then a little more this morning, and then we'll have it this evening for us. I'll say for us, and then in the morning for tomorrow. To start the day today, we'll have presentations followed by a 15-minute break. Sorry, I have to read this to make sure I get all the housekeeping correct. During the break time, you'll be given the opportunity to connect with your fellow attendees and with the sponsors. We'll mention this again right before the break, but we'll just mention it throughout the day because it's a new way of people to meet. Think about it, you're meeting someone standing by the coffee machine. So the break will then be followed by the presentation of the Allied Professionals Award and then a design workshop where you will be given the opportunity to give your input and your opinions on the patient journey in assistive technology. And then we'll take a much longer break and return to the platform presentations this evening. So that's an overview of the presentations. To start, I think we're ready to start the day's program.